Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
My name is Gianluca Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Don't forget, if you want to listen on the internet, you want to go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Another Sunday, another show, and I tell you, one of the reasons really I love to be on this show is because I had the opportunity to learn so many things. Some things, some information that at the beginning, as usually, even have a very open mind, it's normal. The first time you say, oh my God, are you kidding me? I mean, are you for real? Mind control, using sort of different type of new technology that not even that new right now, but okay, they can put messages in your mind or sounds in your mind that only you can hear it and give you excruciating pain if they want to. It looks almost like out of a sci-fi movie. And unfortunately, it is true. And I learned this, as I said, recently, last couple of years, thanks to a friend. My friend Ken from Michigan. And I tell you something, more and more I believe this is a vital topic to talk out there because, we focus on many important things, don't get me wrong. I try to bring things that are in our face, the corruption in our government, local, state, doesn't matter, federal, these, illegal wars that never end, the private Federal Reserve, all these things that they're doing as a police state, the destruction of our republic, and all these things that are very important. But if you look at the big picture, what if governments or some governments have technology already that they can make you a slave and you cannot even control anymore your own mind? And of course, you are not in control anymore of what you do. You think you're free, but after all, you're under a state of mind control. They would be the perfect New World Order citizen, the perfect global slave. Unfortunately, all the evidence that I'll bring you here is being documented. I had on my show the last couple of years, at least, I don't know, many different people who went through or they're facing this reality. And more important, they educated me and my audience, bringing patents, technology, facts, like I did, for example, every time I bring somebody here, I try always to bring you something to back it up. Okay? We talk about patents. We're talking about, from the 70s, declassified documents, stuff that is old. Now, it's fun, and I've been sarcastic, of course. Just this week, on the news, you heard about these diplomats, U.S. diplomats, I think also was a Canadian diplomats. Anyway, they were all facing in this hotel in Cuba the same symptoms of many people who have been facing mind control or at least electronic harassment. Then, of course, when we talk on the show here, it's just happening to the regular average Joe. Nobody wants to believe it. You're crazy. Go to the doctor. Get some medication. Don't even talk about this stuff. Are you kidding me? Tinfoil hat. But then now, because it's happening to some high-ranked diplomats, finally we had it on mainstream news. And they were talking about exactly the same type of symptoms or, let's say, side effect or even signs that we've been talking on the show when it comes down to electronic harassment. I'm not happy about it, but at the same time I am. Because we need to talk about this. We need to expose this technology. Because this is very dangerous. Against all of us can be used. And we don't even know how to stop it. Now, let me bring back my friend Ken Rhoades from Michigan. Because he has many more details about that. Ken, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Luca.
Very good. Listen.
And Luke, thank you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Luca.
Go ahead, please, Ken.
Okay, Luke, if you probably don't remember it, but it can be researched very easy. Back in the 60s, the American workers in the embassy in Russia, and they called it woodpecker. And they were hitting them with the frequencies, the microwave technology, and they were getting cancer, they were getting sick, and our government didn't even tell them what was happening to them. They rotate them out every 12 to 16 months and would bring new ones in, and a lot of them people got cancer and everything else from this.
Yes.
And then we blamed it on the Russia. They called it woodpecker.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if Russia's really one done it, or was it our government? I don't believe anything our government tells us. So it happened in the 60s, and then now I'll take it from there to the Cubans. They say the Cubans was hitting our embassy with these frequencies and causing these people to get sick and all over. This time they didn't experiment on them. In Russia, they left them in there so they could experiment, see what the results would be. So the people that's working for the government, even in the high level, working in the embassy, if you think you're exempt from this government, then I got another thought for you. You're not exempt. They don't care about you either, because they left them in there long enough to experiment them on. Now it's the same thing in Cuba. They're hitting them with the same frequencies. They're getting sick. They're getting headaches. They're feeling nauseous and everything. This time the government couldn't pull the wool over their eyes, so they had to take them out, and they said they expelled 2 Cuban diplomats from America in their embassy.
Yeah.
So who do you think? You think Cuba's got that kind of technology? I don't think so. I think here again, it's our government doing it to their own. This time they're doing it to their own workforce. We've been telling them for years and years about this technology and what the government's doing with it, but everybody says that we need to go get some kind of drugs. Well, I don't need any drugs. You met me. I've been to your house. I'm far from being crazy, and I'm not a conspiracy nut. This is a fact. This is going on.
Yeah, this is people can research the details of this accident. For example, NPR, something normally I really don't listen, but it makes me fall asleep. But I have right now in front of me a source. Okay, after all, NPR, pretty much government official propaganda. Okay, U.S. diplomats suffer hearing loss after serving in Cuba. 16 U.S. diplomats and family members were injured by incidents, between quotes, in Cuba that require medical treatment. The injuries include a hearing loss and mild traumatic brain injury, according to reports. Some suspect sonic attacks. Now, there is much more in the article, and people can research, of course. The point is, first of all, I don't know exactly who could have done it. There are different branches of our government that completely is called the stealth government. Presidents not even aware, okay? So when we say somebody in our government done it, maybe it could be something that we have no idea. At the same time, other governments may have this technology. We know also that Russia may have it. We don't know. I only know that this is a true technology. It really exists. And I doubted that the average Joe in Cuba, they probably, they just barely can make it to live. They're going to have this type of technology. Though this is something that normally belongs to some sort of government agency. That's for sure. I mean, not the average person. But regardless which government, the point is, it's happening. And now they're using against not just the average person, but they were using against people that normally they are considered the officials. So my point is, why you think they were doing that? Just for fun? Or maybe there was some sort of a message to send? Or maybe it was a provocation? Maybe they were trying to blame on the Russians, on the Cubans? Maybe. What do you think? Your guts. I mean, we don't have proof for everything. We know that this stuff is real. But I don't know exactly why they're doing to the U.S., to these diplomats, and who really did it. What is your opinion?
My opinion is, when in Russia, I know Russia has the technology, so does Germany, so does England. A lot of them got it, especially if they belong to the New World Order. Most of them's got it. I personally don't think Cuba has the technology, but then again, I don't know. I can't say they definitely don't have it, because they could have it. But I just can't see the Cubans having this technology when they're still driving 49, 50, and 55 Chevys and Cadillacs and stuff down there in Cuba. This took trillions of dollars to get this technology. Yeah. So I really don't. I believe it's somewhere out of our government that's doing it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
And there are different, of course, sources. I mean, there are different articles. People can just go out and research. And honestly, as much as I feel sorry for these people, okay, because I don't think nobody deserves something like that unless you're a criminal. You don't deserve this stuff, okay? This is bad. But for example, I was looking right now as we talk on Newsweek as another official, mainstream media. At least this is a newspaper, okay, of the official media, okay. Who's making our diplomats in Cuba go deaf? Same question. And they're talking about the technology, so they're acknowledging that. And then, of course, there are different opinions. Florida Senator Marco Rubio thinks that is the Cuban government. And people can Google it, Go to Newsweek, and you can put a keyword on Google or whatever website search engine you use, Cuba electronic harassment diplomats. So there are different official sources. We don't know exactly who did it. But I tell you, the point is they can blame on somebody else. At the same time, this is real. That's my main point. We've been talking for years, Ken, at least the last couple of years, till since you opened my eyes about this technology. And I think this is for the movement of people that have been harassed all these years. It's supposed to be a very important day to prove that they weren't just a bunch of wackos. You weren't just talking about fantasy stuff. This is real now, because unfortunately we need to first see in mainstream media and then becomes real. But that's what it takes. Fine. What do you think? I finally, at least, are we going to acknowledge this stuff?
You know what, Luke, I don't think our government ever acknowledged it, because they think they're, even Putin said here a while back, and he said a few years ago, the country with the best technology is going to control the world. So what's he talking about?
Yeah.
But I think our government thinks they got the better technology, and they think they're going to rule it.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is when you don't have when your own mind can be tricked, we're in deep trouble. That's all I know.
Unfortunately, I wish it was our government. I don't think this is our government anymore. And we have finally, I think, even for the Republicans, should start to wake up. We have the proofs. I mean, let's look at this, Ken. Since Trump has been elected, okay, we have Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican presidency. That was the great opportunity to finally, let's do something right in every way, in every sense, and remove all this Obama stuff and destruction that he did. Thanks, of course, to Congress, because Obama was just, the final signer of this destruction. And now all these Republicans that they were running around the last 8 years with Obama, so we cannot do anything because, after all, there is Obama. Now they've been all exposed. Look, Obamacare, supposed to be repealed, is still there. Spending, supposed to be curtailed, guess what? More spending. We are over $20 trillion. No excuse. The wars in Afghanistan, even Trump said, I'm not going to go there anymore. We don't need to go to Syria. We don't need to go to stay in Afghanistan. America first. Guess what? We still mingling in Syria. And of course, more people, more our soldiers go into Afghanistan. And not over. Keep going. Illegal immigration supposed to be a very stern situation. Guess what? Nothing changed. DACA, whatever they want to call it, is still there. And now Trump, of course, one thing, probably this is the only thing he could do, because after all, he's not a king. All this, the other things I said, when it comes down to Obamacare and, of course, the budget, and, of course, the new taxes laws that we need to really remove all these overtaxes, they're on Congress. And then we saw exactly how this Republican Congress is treasonous and not different from the Democrats, completely in the same bed. Okay, but the one thing that Trump could have done, say, hey, after all this DACA was an executive order, was an illegal, unconstitutional executive order by Obama. Guess what? I'm going to take care of it right now. If you break the law, you know what? You are on the slap. You're giving a slap on the face of all the legally immigrants who took years, spend money and time, and follow the rules, even if sometimes they're overwhelming. Because I can tell you, they're overwhelming. I am a freaking I went through this. I wasn't born here. But that's very bad that somebody, just because their parents broke the law, okay, you must have a free card. That's wrong in my opinion. But anyway, the point is that what I'm trying to say is this. This is not our government anymore. No matter who is in charge, They are proving that they're doing exactly the same thing needs to be done to create the destruction of this country, and on its ashes we have a global government, aka New World Order. What do you think? Am I maybe too extreme, or maybe you got something here?
No, you're not too extreme. Because I definitely believe, see, the government is supposed to be we the people. It's no longer we the people. I call it the deep state. They're the ones that's above the president, CFR, the Bilderbergs. They're running this country, and they want to destroy our country. They literally want to destroy us, and they always said that America was the big one to bring down.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're finding out it's a little harder to bring down than what they thought.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I can say, this is sad because as much as I know Trump is not perfect, and I didn't have everything the same page with him, I was hoping at least now, finally, for a moment, we had an opportunity at least to remove Obamacare, at least to stop this completely out of control spending. I mean, think about it. Every year, every budget, we must break the record. More. It's like a drug addict, okay? Never ends till it's dead. That's where we are, seriously. And then, of course, nobody's even addressing the real problem. We are in debt with a private entity called Federal Reserve that is not federal at all, but is private. And all we had to do, at least, the last president was trying to do it, to bring back the power, the sovereign power as a nation to print our own money. And the last one was JFK, when he was trying to introduce the executive order that is still there. I think it's 11,000, I forgot. Anyway, to completely, let's say, bypass the Federal Reserve. We don't need your money printed out of thin air as a private cartel of banks, and then you charge us the interest. We can do like we used to do before 1913. So the point is, nobody wants to touch that, but that's another story. But the point is, I don't see any hope. And normally, the only hope I have at this point is really an act of God or gods or whatever you want to believe out there. But for sure, these politicians, they're a bunch of sellout. Now, another thing I want to tell you, and I'm really becoming more and more educated about this, I'm really concerned about the foreign influence that many nations have, especially one, State of Israel. And I have nothing against the Jew people. I couldn't care less. I'm not here to say you're bad or you're good. I think everybody's good. I don't care. But when you have proof that you have AIPAC, this Jewish lobby, controlling Congress, and there are different, congressmen going public. Not many, but for example, one was James Traficant, who, by the way, died just a couple of years ago, that pretty much exposed the fact that when you are in Congress, you got newly elected, you got pretty much like the mafia, you got visited by AIPAC, and you must sign an agreement to vote and support Israel no matter what. If you don't do that, the next election cycle, they will send and will fund somebody else against you. That's a fact. So, and by the way, there was also a complete proof. I think it was the former minister Netanyahu. I forgot the name. Anyway, I'll play it. I'll try to. There is an article on the Israeli news that pretty much this first prime minister from Israel said, by the way, we control Congress. We don't care what they say. At the end of the day, we control Congress. And the funny thing, they control Congress. They bribe them. They bribe our congressmen with our own money. I find completely, criminal the fact that we are forced to pay as a U.S. taxpayers billions of dollars to any nation. We are all broke. All they can go around the credit cards with China or with the Federal Reserve. No, we are going there. We are paying for them. And more important, the sad thing, especially with Israel, we pay them billions of dollars. And this administration with Trump, he gave them a huge, I forgot how many billions. It's ridiculous how many billions we're giving. Like Obama gave 150 billions to Iran, for God's sake. And this money should be used for us. And the sad thing is all these conservative people out there that normally they're against socialism, when it comes down to, to completely give our tax dollar to Israel, they're all okay with that. Seriously. Disgusting. If you want to send a check, send me a freaking personal check. Go ahead, Ken. Sorry.
You know what, Luca, the other day we had 2 hurricanes here, Florida and Texas. And then I read an article where I'm sure our government's doing something for them. I ain't gonna say they're not doing nothing for Texas and Florida, but we sent another 25 million to Israel. What's that all about? How come that money couldn't have been used to help the people that lost everything? Some of these people lost everything, Luca. They got out of their house with their life, and some of them didn't even get out with their life. But yet, we're sending Israel more money for something that we promised. What about the American people? They've been paying taxes for years, and when we have a hurricane, we get very little because they don't care about us.
Yeah, and let's think about it. The other day, I was listening to the interview on some talk show, Austin in the morning. This is the son of one former prime minister, and he was bragging how Israel is doing great economically, and they are so great. I bet you they are so great economically because you're using our credit card to the max, okay? And you don't even pay taxes back, okay? That's the bottom line. I mean, people has to do to find out how much money we give to Israel, every country. And, it's not just Israel, by the way. I don't have any personal grudge with Israel. I don't like to give money to Israel, to Palestine, to Iran. Think about it, $150 billion to Iran. I mean, just it's like a bribe money. And this is supposed to be criminal. That's why we should talk about collusion. Forget about the Russians. This is something that is giving money to an enemy. And more important, why we need to give $150 billion? What's the justification? This just to shut them up, to keep them nice. It's like, you give to the gang, like the protection racket. The point is, that should be criminal. Obama should be prosecuted for that. I'm not for Trump at this point, but the point is, at the same time, I don't like when everything is going to get the blame for everything. They try to blame it still with this Russian collusion. Nobody talk about the collusion with Hillary Clinton and the uranium scandal. That never really made it to the Justice Department. And look at the $150 billion. I'm sure right now, Texas and Florida would love to have a little bit of those billions. Don't you think, Ken?
Oh, absolutely. And look at North Korea. They say that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton's one that sold them all their nuclear technology. I don't know. I wasn't there, but that's what they're claiming on most of the things I read.
Yeah.
And which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. The United States agreed Wednesday, that was 2016, by the way, exactly September, agreed to provide Israel a record of $38 billion in new military aid over the next decade. $38 billion. This is just not even the most recent, okay? Oh my gosh. This is insane. Insane. That's all I want to say. That's why I believe, this is not anymore our government, Ken, because there are proofs. And I will, by the way, I want to do a show about this, about exactly the Prime Minister of Israel bragging, okay, that they control Congress, okay? Israel, I'm calling it right now, Israel Prime Minister control U.S. Congress. Let's see, speech. It's a speech. Oh my gosh. There we go. Let's see. The complete transcript of Netanyahu address to Congress. Okay? Oh my gosh. There was, by the way, Netanyahu's speech to Congress has jeopardized U.S.-Israel relations. The Guardian, 2015. And there is also, it's all out there. It's all out there. I mean, this for me would be enough to say, what did you just say? You can control Congress? Guess what? Every congressman should be, kept accountable right now to say, stop giving money that we do not have to any nations. I don't care which nation, I lie or not. They can rack. All we do right now, we go to max our credit card for somebody else. That's what we're doing. They can do that on their own. Let's not forget China. We've been sold out to China with this incredible debt that one day, if they really want their money back, they have the moral, let's say, standing to say, you don't give us the money now, we can come and get it. We can come and get your land, and now it's our land as collateral. That's how war started it. And that's, I really think where we're going next. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're in deep trouble with China, especially if we hit North Korea. Now, I read an article today, and I don't know if it's true or not, that we did drop some bombs in the peninsula in North Korea today, just to show them the force of power. Now, I just read that on the internet, so maybe somebody else can find it and let me know if it's not true. But I heard that we did drop some bombs on North Korea today. And that's, you know what, Luca, that's going to bring Russia and China right in because they're back in North Korea. So what are we going to do, start a nuclear war now?
Well, I think, by the way, there is a disturbing fact that I will talk more in the second hour. There is a website. It's a U.S. contract, excuse me. It's an official U.S. company working as a contractor for the U.S. government. I posted also on Facebook, and they have the projections of every country with the population numbers. We are about 300 million people, okay? The projection in the next 5 years or so for the U.S., it goes back to a fourth, no more than 50 millions. The funny thing that there wasn't just us, was also the British government, the British country, the UK, excuse me, United Kingdom. But China, everything was fine. Maybe they know something that we don't know. And I'm trying to call them, by the way. I'm trying to reach somebody. This is not just some conspiracy theory website. This is something that they really have huge contracts with the U.S. government. And it's in plain view. So we know that there is a plan right now through the forced vaccination, through the different type of chemicals, additives that they put in the water, in food, GMO, what they're spraying in the air. And only God knows any things that we don't know. Think about it. This electronic harassment is not just for the few. There are now different things they're doing, especially with the G5 new towers coming through. We have no idea about the side effects for our health. So the point is, I really believe they're working on it, the population control. And by the way, they're also public. There was an article, I think, on the New York Times. I'm going to read it later. They say we should probably add some chemicals to sterilize people in food. In the food. This is like, who made you God? You, whatever you are, journalist. All these newspapers, news media, we know they work for the Council of Foreign Relations. We have proofs and evidence. They are members of this organization. And the main chief editors, or let's say the owners, they are following the plan. So that's what they're doing. I really believe they want to completely remove big part of the population. And war could be one of the tools. What do you think?
If you go on the internet, you can pull it up with Bill Gates saying that we need the world's population control. We need to bring it down by 80%.
Yeah.
And the audience didn't clap for him. He said, but we're doing a pretty good job with vaccinations and medication.
Yeah.
So what's he saying?
Exactly.
Now I played that for my wife because she didn't believe me.
Yeah.
And I went and found it on YouTube and played it for her.
Yeah. And
so what's he talking about?
Exactly. And now we can see the trend is not just America. Some states like California, it's already happening. By Europe, it's in full force. Italy, forced vaccination. Since the moment you are born till you are 18, if you don't comply, they can take your children. You have to pay fines. This is serious. And meanwhile, we know that people are getting sick. And by the way, since this law became official in Italy, now we have already the first casualties of Italian children, being damaged by these side effects of this garbage they put in their bodies through vaccines. So this is now to a point I really believe if people do not say no now, this is no more about extra taxes or whatever they do to you about, more controlling your life. No, this is about death or life. If you still do not say no now, if you still comply, at that point, you are a slave, and more important, you just say, okay, kill me. At this point, I don't care which law they pass. If they tell me that I have to force myself to get something that I know I have enough evidence can give serious health problems to me, first of all, it's an act of freedom. Nobody's going to force me anything in my body unless I say so, me or my children. That's a fact. But more important, this is also now a situation that we know that this stuff, it is lethal, can become lethal, and we have no even idea all these complete side effects that could create. For example, We know that many holistic doctors in the last 2 years, almost 100, die mysteriously, and they all somehow they were trying to figure it out, or at least some of them, they have found out a connection between these vaccines and cancer. So that's something we need to think about it. All right, listen, I want to give you the floor, Ken. Whatever you want to say about anything, go ahead.
Okay, let me talk about the Bundys, because I've been following that real close. You know, we was both there on the day of the standoff. But
yes.
They went through a trial. Eric Parker, there's 4 of them went through a trial a few months back. They got a hung jury. So she brings all 4 of them back just last couple of weeks ago. She brings them back, and they wouldn't let. No, I testified by Skype, but yet she wouldn't let the jury hear it. The guy from Fox News testified. 5 people testified. She wouldn't let the jury hear anything we had to say. Only what the BLM officers were saying, that they were feared for their lives and all that. She let the jury hear all of that, but only. And then Eric Parker got up to testify. He said something she didn't like. She came in the next morning and told the jury disregard anything he said because it wasn't evidence. And she let you just called the guy's name. What was the other guy?
Yeah. Wow.
What was the other guy's name?
That's Scott Drexler, right?
Yeah, right. She let him testify. He's the only one that got to testify for the defense.
Yeah. Now
they came back this time. 2 of them got found not guilty of any charges. And Eric Parker and Drexler, they had 4 counts that they hung the jury on. It was 11-1 for acquittal. 11-1.
Wow.
And they would have a total charges dropped on all of them. You know what, Luca? On the 10th, they're starting the trial over again, and she's going to bring Eric Parker and Drexler back in with the Bundys and Pete and all the rest of them, and she's going to try them again when it was 11-1 for dismissal.
This is the 3rd time.
You know,
the 3rd time. Talking about double jeopardy. I mean, this is anymore the country of our Bill of Rights and Constitution. Regardless where people believe or not, these people deserve. The point is, they've already been tried twice. Okay, this is back to the time of King George. You know, the kangaroo court in front of the judge working for the king, and no matter what, you know, you're still going to be tried again till you lose. That's the bottom line. You know?
Right. Well, this will be the 3rd time for these 2 guys.
Yeah.
Now, 11-1 looks to me like this prosecutor said, you know what? Looks like we're not going to get a conviction here. We're going to dismiss their charges. Oh no, we're going to find them guilty. So they're going to bring them back in again. Now, what if they get a hung jury the next time, Luca?
Yeah.
Are we going to bring them back in for the 4th time?
Yeah.
How many times do we try American citizens?
Yeah.
Americans better wake up.
Yeah. Now, this is very sad. And by the way, that's exactly my point. You know, if there was really a difference in the change of this administration, there is not. Look at this. I gave you all different evidence and facts. I'm sorry you're disappointed about Trump, because I am too. But at least I'm trying to admit reality. Let's look at things that, first of all, this Republican Congress could have done. You know, stop this spending. No, we are way more. Another over 20 trillions. No, stop. Getting bigger. More debt. Number 2, these wars. You know, Afghanistan, you know, Syria. Trump, as executive, you know, commander-in-chief, could have said it's time to first at least, fulfill the promises that he did during the campaign. America first. No, we're back to Afghanistan. And by the way, you know what, I'm really almost fun if it wasn't so serious. We fought World War II. We fought Germans. We fought the Japanese army. You know, my gosh, they had the Navy. They had the army. There was a world war. And in 5 years was over. No, now we are facing an enemy that pretty much they can even speak, they can even read, they can even have, barely they can drive a pickup. They don't have a real navy. They don't have navy at all. They don't even have a freaking air force. Maybe they have pigeons dropping bombs, okay? That's all they have. And we still, after 16 years or whatever, we're still there. This is insane. If people don't wake up, don't see that this is like 1984, the endless war to control the people. That's what we are. So that's very sad. And on top, of course, as I said, look what's going in this Congress. Obamacare, Could have changed yesterday, immediately. No, it's still there. People losing their health, losing their home, can't even afford it anymore, this disgrace. And much more. And of course, the illegal immigration, no even talk. Now, Trump is talking with the Democrats to Pelosi and Schumer. I mean, give me a break, guys. Wake up. Okay? So that's my point. We are really now in a situation that let's talk about these poor bastards facing trial. Right now, the Attorney General, it is under the Trump administration. Trump should have said, you know what? This is time to stop this travesty, waste of tax dollar and travesty of justice. Instead, Attorney General, Mr. Sessions, he went to, a couple of months ago, he was in Las Vegas and congratulated. He gave him the thumbs up to the prosecutor. Great job. Did you hear that, Ken?
Yes, I did. He said the prosecution is doing a good job, and I'm not going to take sides. He just gave that judge a green light to be more evil than what she was.
Yeah, he already took sides. When he didn't do anything, he's taking sides. You're supposed to be side of the justice, okay? Anyway, disgusting. All I can say, I believe at this point we need to really... The only people who can save us, it's us. Forget about these bastards, leeches, sell-out, politicians in Washington. No, it's up to us right now. The moment that we still play the game of Republican and Democrat, we are screwed. Okay? I don't care. I'm sorry that your team is stab you in the back. I have no team. My only team is America and the American people, our Constitution and Bill of Rights. All the rest is an illusion. Okay? I don't care. That's why I completely despise Republicans that will still have hams on their eyes as much as despise Democrats who still have ham on their eyes. And they don't wake up. I mean, I like Democrats that they wake up and they say, okay, we may have differences of opinion on socioeconomics. By the end of the day, we are Americans and we don't condone, corruption. We do not condone people like Hillary Clinton and any other politician out there who completely breaks the law. All right, I'll give you 60 seconds to close. Whatever you want to say, Ken.
Okay, I just read an article today where they found 30 young kids in the back of a truck in the Walmart parking lot, and I think 8 of them were dead, and the rest of them had to be hospitalized. And it's a pedophile ring, and guess where they were headed to? Washington.
Wow.
So I mean, I don't even know what to think anymore.
Yeah. All right, my friend, listen to me. Keep me posted. I appreciate it. Okay. And
okay, look.
And thank you for sharing, and thank you for keep trying, because I tell you, we do, more than we think. Sometimes, we think we are a little crazy out there. I remember when I met you the first day, you went in your rental car with a bunch of DVDs and trying to tell me about, electronic harassment and different things. I am very open and many things I already knew. But I tell you, sometimes I say, wow, let me take a little time to just understand. And you woke me up on this topic of electronic harassment and mind control. And I thank you, because I know that at that point, we can help other people. That's our job. I really believe we got to keep doing this.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend. Say hi to your lady. And thank you, by the way, for supporting the show buying Zanna coffee. I appreciate it.
Yes, my wife made banana pudding the other day with your coffee, and it was delicious, Luke. Your coffee is excellent.
Thank you. And I saw also, by the way, the photo she tagged me. Very nice, beautiful cake, whatever it is, pudding. I never had it in my life, but looks great. One day I need to come and eat it, okay? All right.
Okay, Luke.
Thank you. Keep me posted, okay? Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Ken Rhoades from Michigan. Now, little break, and I have more news. Do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.